Good afternoon. A woman from Aberdeen has been sentenced to 7 years in prison for harming a child with laxatives. Tracy Menhinnick gave the child laxative lactulose, which caused their development and mobility to be affected and led to them being admitted to hospital over a 3-year period from 2014. The child had treatments, procedures and operations that the 52-year-old knew were unnecessary. The brother-in-law of Scotland's First Minister has been charged with abduction and extortion in a case linked to a man who died after falling from a window in Dundee. The 36-year-old was seriously injured at a block of flats in the city's Morgan Street in January. He later died in hospital. Ramzi El Nakla, the brother of Hamza Yousaf's wife Nadia, will be the 4th person to appear in court in connection with the case. The second of 2 long-awaited and over-budget Calmac ferries has been officially launched at Ferguson's shipyard. The MV Glenrosa is the heaviest vessel ever to leave the port in Glasgow, and it entered the water just a few minutes ago after its naming ceremony. The ferry and its sister vessel, the Glen Sannox, have suffered repeated delays and cost overruns. The Glenrosa, which is due to serve the islanders of Arran, will now undergo trials before it's handed over next year. The Scottish Police Federation is warning of the potential impact of a further drop in officer numbers. Since the creation of Police Scotland in 2013, officer numbers have dropped by around 1,000. There's a warning if there are further cuts, that could see an increase in organised crime activity. The Scottish Government says there continues to be more officers here than elsewhere in the UK.
Criminals are competent people in certain respects. They will fill that void. And the chances then of serious crime, organised crime groups identifying weaknesses in the area because of the lack of police, they will be exploited, I have no doubt, and history will tell us that.
Football and Scotland's women's side are back in Euro qualifying action tonight. Pedro Martinez Losa's side host Slovakia at Hampden. Their first group game was a goalless draw away to Serbia.
We prepare to win all the games, but it's true that when you analyse the opponents, you recognise strengths and weaknesses. We played against Slovakia a couple of years ago, and we beat the game. We won the game, but we had some moments that Slovakia proposed a lot of good things on combinative football.
Now here's the weather forecast.
A spell of wows will gradually settle into a scattering of traditional tapas. TUI sponsors STV weather.
Good afternoon. Quite a miserable start to the day for many northern and eastern parts with the persistent rain, also a brisk northerly wind as well, making it feel even chillier, and some snow for the Grampians too. But brighter skies slowly coming in from the west later on today, but there'll still be a good deal of showers around, but it will improve through the evening. Many of us becoming much drier and also clearer, and it's actually going to be quite a chilly night with a wee touch of frost, perhaps inland parts of Angus, around Perthshire and inland Aberdeenshire as well. Temperatures down to around freezing. Tomorrow, a horrible day to come. Lots of rain spreading in from the west. The best of the weather until later on across Shetland, but particularly wet around the likes of Lochaber, Ardgour and Rannoch.
TUI sponsors STV weather.
That's all for this lunchtime. Norman will be back with the rest of today's headlines at 6 o'clock. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.